Yes, sir. Welcome in, everyone, to episode 292 of The Dream Wager. Last day of July 31st, 2023. As always, I'm your host, D-Rock, and joining me, our NBA guru, my partner in crime, Elvis Acosta. E, how you doing today, kid?
I'm doing great, Dylan. Day of the month, Dylan. I was just happy coming off last week that it wasn't a scorcher. Nice, cool. It was still a little hot, Dill, but it wasn't that 95, 100 degrees we was facing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday last week. So I'm just glad I had a nice chill day at work.
Yeah, 100%. It wasn't too bad out. I was in the city today and I was like, oh, it's only 81, 82. Like, it wasn't it was bearable. It was nice out. But yeah, got a light breeze over here. We got a great show for everyone today. Got some football news, of course, to talk about. A little drama in the Colts organization with Jim Irsay and Jonathan Taylor. We got some baseball plays as well. 10-game slate on the diamond today. And we continue our NFL two-a-days. We will start with the AFC West. We'll start with the Broncos and the Chiefs. And we'll have a guest on for later in the week with the Raiders and the Chargers. But Elvis, let's get to it. Jim Irsay and Jonathan Taylor saga continues. So it was crazy over the weekend. Apparently, without all the details, we get an alert that Jonathan Taylor requested a trade. Then it winded up happening that they wanted to put him on the physically unable to perform list and not being able to pay him. And then it came out that the Jim Irsay said this crazy quote. I don't have it in front of me, but then he basically said, he came to training camp with back pain. He reported the back pain to us, and now he can't perform. So we're trying to get away from paying him. Then Jonathan Taylor came out about, less than 24 hours ago. He said, number one, never had back pain. Two, never reported back pain. Not sure who these quote unquote sources are, but find new ones. So it's heating up. It kind of irks me that the Colts would say that they wouldn't pay Jonathan Taylor, because when Andrew Luck winded up abruptly retiring a few years ago, they winded up giving all $23 million that they owed to him. So not saying that they're going to, just give him what he deserves, I think. But it's kind of crazy what's going on. And then Jim Irsay comes out with that quote, which I guess is out of pocket a little bit, but has some truth, because the game is bigger than all of them, to be honest, and it will continue without Jonathan Taylor or without Jim Irsay, to be honest. But I mean, it's just crazy what's going on in Indy right now. But what's your overall assessment on what's going on, and do you think Jonathan Taylor actually plays for the Colts this year?
Dill, the way it's looking, I don't think so. Just because how nasty things got, it didn't have to go there. All the things that spewed out on Twitter. That's why I always say you got to avoid the social media thing.
Yeah.
As grown men, you got to be able to come into a room and at least sit down and talk like gentlemen. So that's what I'm big on. So after what I saw on the social media, there is no way Jonathan Taylor swallows that much pride and then plays for Jim Irsay. If you tell me Jim Irsay won't step it aside as the owner, yeah, possibly I could see Jonathan Taylor and the Colts getting a deal done. But for Jonathan Taylor and his management and agent to get a deal done with Jim Irsay, I'm gonna say it's damn near impossible deal, because at the end of the day, you're attacking somebody's just whole thing. Think about it, though. You out here basically telling other franchises after he recreates the trade that he has some type of back issue.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes out publicly and said there's no such thing as anything with my back. So, is it really? I know personally it probably won't be nothing wrong with his back, but the fact that our owner's gonna throw that out there, knowing this man just requested a trade, is kind of crazy. So, for him and the Colts to work out a deal, I think it's impossible.
And I also think on the other side, if they do want to trade him, he did request a trade. I think that's tricky as well. Jim Irsay came out and said, we're not going to trade him. Whether he plays or he doesn't play is up to him, but we're not going to trade a player like that, which I agree. I wouldn't trade Jonathan Taylor. I'd rather keep him in building. And they don't seem inclined to pay him top market. Maybe not Christian McCaffrey money, but definitely more than the franchise tag, which is $10 million. I think he deserves around $12, $13 million, whether Colts are going to pay them or not. And if they do, they're going to ask for a steep package in return. So I guess finding a team and getting the contract done with that new team is going to be really hard, in my opinion. Do you think if they do wind up trading him, I guess, do you think they're going to get any return on investment for a guy like Jonathan Taylor?
Still, the way it seems, the way the NFL is leaning towards, it seems like the running back has no real value. No running back has really got paid. We saw Saquon get the franchise tag, but other than that, we saw Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard. Numbers of running backs not getting, even Dalvin Cook. He's yet to. We see how that's working out for him. He's yet to land on a team. So, are we seeing the modern day running back depreciation? If that's what's going on right now, is Jonathan Taylor, if per se, if there's a team that's willing to make a move for Jonathan Taylor, and let's say Jim Irsay says, okay, I'm willing to give him up, is that team still going to give Jonathan Taylor, 3 or 4 year contract at like $12-15 million a year? That's the question,
That's
Bill.
the question.
So how many teams are really going to be out there lining up to pay a running back $10+ million for the next 3 to 4 seasons? I don't see that being, a handful of teams possibly in the NFL. But still, the way he's looking, he wants a deal. Coach ain't giving him a deal, and now it looks like the coach ain't going to trade him no matter what.
Isn't it sad though? I mean, you and I growing up and how NFL teams in the 90s and late and early 2000s valued the running back position, and now they can't even get 11 million. A guy like Jonathan Taylor, who doesn't have that many miles on his legs. Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing, and he still can't get a contract. It's like it's sad talking about the running back position nowadays, because I think I'm very old school, and I think I value the running back position a little more. I'm not saying go and paying every running back 16, 17 million, because that's not feasible, but at least above market, especially guys who provide. Yeah. It seems like every time these guys go out and produce and get and have a good season, they go, oh, well, we don't have to pay them. Now we could go find someone else. I don't know. It's just very sad to me. I wanted to get your thoughts.
Yeah, still, I was saying a few pods ago. It's just every offseason we see a new record breaker, for a position, wide receiver, offensive line. Every season, off season is a quarterback. But, all these other positions, cornerback, safeties, there's cornerbacks making $20+ million a year. There's offensive linemen and defensive linemen making upwards of $25-30 million a season. You're not going to tell me a running back don't deserve at least half. Yeah. We're not saying that the running back deserves $20+ million like a wide receiver, or $30+ million like these elite offensive defensive linemen. All I'm saying is I think they deserve at least somewhere between 10 to 16. Somewhere in that, especially Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler. Mm-hmm. All these guys deserve multi-year deals, and to get something done, it's honestly a shame, Bill.
Yeah, it is a shame, especially with all this money and all these TV contracts that the NFL is getting. There is money there. The owners have the money. It's just where they choose to spend it. But staying in the running back position, Seahawks, they're hurting right now. Star running back RB1 Kenneth Walker III. He's considered week to week. He has a groin injury, and then the rookie that they drafted in the second round, Zach, I think Camerdot. He's going to miss several weeks, according to Pete Carroll. He, I think, popped his shoulder out. He's dealing with the shoulder injury. So they're hurting at running back position right now. Maybe they're a team and go in and get a little more depth or a little help at the running back position. What do you think about that?
Maybe not just yet. Maybe a reach still. Maybe, sign somebody like a Dalvin Cook for a year. Maybe that's more possible. But, like you said, you got a rookie that they just got in the second round, and you got Walker the third, who just came in last season. Those are young bulls, so I'm not gonna look out there in the open market and try to sign somebody for a long-term deal, knowing that I have something special of Kenneth the Walker and something that could possibly be special in the second round pick, like you alluded to with the rookie deal. So I'm not gonna panic if I'm the Seahawks, especially if it's week by week. Maybe if it's something tore, something that needed to be surgically repaired, maybe I'll be a little more worried, but hey. Let's just, get to the start of the season and see how we look there. Because Kenneth Walker is something special. I'm not just going to go out there and sign a running back on a multi-year deal, knowing I got Kenneth Walker on a rookie deal.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe add a little more depth, not like a star, because then I think it's sending
For
Kenneth
example,
Walker.
if the Seahawks would pick up Ezekiel Elliott, for the veteran minimum,
Yeah,
just to get through the start of the season and preseason, why not? I think Ezekiel Elliott still
yeah,
got
that's a good call.
some miles left, and he is gonna show up and play games. He's
You
not like
just don't want the Patriots to sign him.
realistically, if we were going to sign him, we would have signed him last week. He's out the building. He's no longer.
By the way, I know you saw the picture of him and Mac Jones having lunch or dinner together. Isn't it weird that they were sitting on the same side of the table? That's like if me and you went to lunch and me and you sat next to each other. That's weird.
They probably caught the picture when the ladies and somebody else were out, to using the restroom or getting drinks or something. I highly doubt they were just sitting next to each other. And honestly, hopefully Ezekiel Elliott paid because he got you. Mac Jones still.
He's on that rookie contract still.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, and we'll stay in the running back conversation. So it's crazy. Sonny Michel, ex-Patriot, Super Bowl champ.
Two-time Super Bowl champ.
My fault. 2-time Super Bowl champ. Sonny Michel, he came to training camp for the Rams. He went to first day and he said, "Yeah, I'm retired. I'm good. I'm good. I got my Super Bowls." He retired after the first day of training camp, which is hilarious, I thought. But they go out and they sign Royce Freeman, ex-Bronco, actually, to fill the void. So running backs are getting very slim by the day. And I think as injuries start to occur and we do get closer to football season, we're going to start seeing a lot of more people signed in the offseason, like Ezekiel Elliott. So I think deals will get done, but the free agencies are getting slim pickings out here. So we have that. And then my boy, Quan Alexander, he signed a 1-year deal. He went in, he had a meeting, I think 2 weeks ago with the Steelers. Apparently it went really good. I mean, why wouldn't it? The guy's a monster. He played every game for us last season. He was a veteran in the locker room. He has Super Bowl, experience. So going in that defense with a guy like Tomlin, I think it's a perfect fit. It's unfortunate that the Jets weren't able to sign him, but you like the addition to in the linebacker position for the Steelers?
Yeah, I think it's always a positive when you can add a veteran like that into a defensive mindset team like the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think there's a match made in heaven for a guy like that, and I think he can honestly help the Steelers improve in the linebacker room. And honestly, contributing to winning, Dill. I think he's a perfect fit.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a great fit for the Steelers, but we will see how that goes. Hopefully it doesn't go well and we get him at the trade deadline. Come on back. Aaron Rodgers gave a lot of money back. So we got $34 million to play with for this season, but we will see. Elvis, I want to get some Hall of Fame game. We got football this week, baby. I got it. We're going to watch it. We're going to bet it. I'm betting it. Zach Wilson starting. Ooh, Zach Wilson about to light him up. And I know I'm high on the Browns, but I seen Zach Wilson be throwing no-look passes already in training camp. It's the Aaron Rodgers effect. It's rubbing off on him.
I tell you what, though. First quarter money line should be the Jets because Zach Wilson has to go out there and dominate against a bunch of second stringers. Put like this, if Zach Wilson don't go out there and go at least 8 for 12 for a buck, I'll give
40.
I was gonna say $115, $120, and 1 touchdown, no turnovers. Put like this, if he don't do that, you drop it.
On a serious note, the best thing to happen to Zach Wilson is for him to learn under Aaron Rodgers, correct? What?
It's not a bad thing. Dill, are you honest? You say the best thing for him is to sit him.
What would be the best thing, I guess?
Getting actual playing time, getting better.
No. But like even Patrick Mahomes couldn't go right into the league.
Yes,
and start.
He could have. Yes, he could.
No, but he learned under Alex Smith, and Alex Smith is nowhere near it. So even he came out and said, "Yo, the best thing for me under Andy Reid, great coach, I think the best coach, and." You learn under Alex Smith, who's proven he could win in the league and proven he could get to the playoffs. I think it helps. Zach Wilson, he wasn't mature enough or had the talent to start right away, even as the number 2 overall pick. So to learn a year, maybe 2 years under Aaron Rodgers, I think that's the best thing you're going to get, especially in the New York media where they'll rip you apart. So I honestly think that's the best thing for him. I think in 2 years, 3 years, whenever he does play, I think he's going to be light years ahead of what we saw. I think the turnovers are going to be cut down, hopefully. So I think he's in the right situation right now. On a serious note, jokes aside, but I do think that's the best thing for him. But let's get to these plays. Let's start on the diamond. Only 10 games on the slate. I have about 4 or 5 plays, but I will let you start it off. What's your first play for tonight, kid?
First play, we heading to the Bronx, New York. Tampa Bay Rays facing the New York Yankees. Yankees are sitting at plus 132. Over under set at 9. Dill, give me the Tampa Bay Rays on the money line. Dill, I ended up catching a little earlier at minus 131. It's up at minus 155. People. A little chalky. Even at 131 was chalky, but minus 155 is up there really. Um, I say still take it. Just don't go too crazy with unit wise, but I'm gonna have to go with the Rays money line though.
Yeah, I agree. That is one of my plays as well. Raise money line. I mean, I'm going to fade Johnny Brito at home. Usually, we've said this through the existence of the podcast. We like to fade teams playing on Sunday Night Baseball, especially when they have to travel. Now, I know Maryland to New York's not that far, but they still got back to New York or past midnight. So it was a long night. Now they have to go and play the Rays, who their bats are kind of heating up. They heated up in that series against the Astros this past weekend. So, and they get Glass now, who's been dealing in the month of July. I don't know. I just think this is a bad spot for the Yankees. So I agree. I got it at minus 130 yesterday, minus 155. I still like it, but
don't love it.
I don't love it. I agree. I don't love it. Because now it's getting to like plus 130, plus 135 for the Yankees. And, I'm really not playing the game. I'm playing the team. I'm playing the numbers. So I think we're starting to get there in value. But my other play, I'll go a little earlier, 6:40 Eastern, between the Marlins and the Phillies. Phillies actually opened up the favorite, and now money has come in on the Marlins. Now they're the favorite at home, minus 116. Over under is at 8.5. I got them earlier in the day, plus 102 on the money line. I took them first 5 plus a half. Edward Cabrera, he's undefeated at home this season. I like Taijuan Walker, but he does give up a little more contact on the road. And I just think for whatever reason, this past weekend, the Marlins had a tough series against the Tigers. But that's why I kind of took the first 5 because their bullpen's kind of weary with me right now. So Edward Cabrera, like I said, undefeated at home. The Marlins only lost 1 game in Miami that Cabrera started. It was back in like early May or early April. So I mean, I love the Marlins here at home. I do think this is a good spot for them. So I'm going to take them. The money has come in on them for a reason. So, yeah, I rattled off 2 in a row. My bad. But, yeah, what's your next play, kid?
You good, Dill. Let's go to Chicago, Dill. Cincinnati Reds facing Chicago Cubs, Dill. Stroman is on the mound for the Cubs, Dill, but I'm going to go with Albo. Give me the Cincinnati Reds, dog of the day, plus 102. Caught them. Right now, they're plus 110, people, so shop around. I still love them at plus 110, Dill. This Cincinnati team been taking off since the start of June. I think they keep it rolling. I think this team solidified themselves as a playoff team. I like to see them rolling. I think Cruz is the next step. Next great kid coming up, Dill. Give me the Cincinnati Reds on the money line. Plus 102. I even like it at plus 110.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I usually back Stroman, but he hasn't made it past the 3rd inning in 3 straight starts. He's lost it. I don't know. This July has not been good to him. The Reds opened up a plus 125 favorite, and I wish I jumped on it. I got a plus 110 right now, so I still like them. Cubs, they are on a hot streak. They're, I think, 10-2 in their last 12 games. They lost yesterday, but honestly, I just think the Reds are the better overall team, and they've kind of owned the Cubs this season. They're 4-1 straight up against the Cubs this season. Last time they were in Wrigley, they swept the Cubs. So I like Andrew Abbott. His hard hit rate has been down in the low 20s. He gets a lot of ground balls, and he hasn't allowed more than 3 runs. And he's only allowed 3 or more runs just one time in this whole season, and it was against the Brewers, who are not really known as a hitting team. So I think the Reds are live here as well. So my dog of the day is the Cincinnati Reds as well. We're on the same page. What's your last play?
Last play of the day, Dale. Let's go to Seattle. Boston Red Sox taking on the Seattle Mariners. Another dog deal. Give me the Boston Red Sox on the money line deal. Pavetta's on the mound. Always try to back Pavetta. And I'm gonna be honest, though, I think the Red Sox are due. We just lost 2 straight to the fucking Giants. So I think this is a great bounce back scenario on the road. We got to take care of business against the Mariners. Give me the Red Sox on the money line.
Yeah, Nick Pavette, he's coming back. Interesting, though. I didn't want to back him coming back on the road. I do like George Kirby. It was a stay away game. I think this is going to be a really good series between Boston and Seattle. Boston, they did lose 2 straight, but coming in here against Seattle, where Seattle's really not much of a hitting team, I think is going to be a low scoring. I do lean under 7.5, but my last game, I am going to go a little up, 8:11 Eastern start time. Is the Astros taking on the Guardians. Noah Syndergaard's getting his first start with his new team. Love the over, by the way. I just think Syndergaard on the road has been terrible. JP France, he's prone to give up some runs as well. But, I just think we're going to see a high-scoring game. I like the over. I'm taking Astros first 5 -0.5 at -140. It's a little chalky, but, like I said, I think the Astros bats, they just took 2 or 3 from the Rays. That was a very high-scoring series, and 2 of the 3 games went over the total. And I just think the Astros, they got Yordan Alvarez, they got Jose Altuve back in that lineup, so I think they're going to tee off a Syndergaard. His home and road splits, I know they were with the Dodgers, but on the road, he's had 1 good start on the road, and that's literally it. So I think we'll see a ton of runs here. I think Astros tee off on Syndergaard. So Astros first 5 -0.5 is my last play. Any other play that I left out for you, or you got everything?
Nah, that's everything, Dill. I will give a few leans, but your boy had a bad Saturday. So.
Oh, I was going to ask. We were talking about that. How did you do on Saturday?
I wanted to say it, people. Your boy had an historic day. I went 0-5. So, impressive.
That's hard. That's hard.
That's hard. Not how many people can honestly say they went 0-5. It's hard.
It's hard.
And his mind is documented. So it's proof. It's set in stone. It happened. So if you faded the boy, congratulations.
Don't worry. I had a bad, not bad on the MLB plays for Saturday. I think I went 4-2, but I went like 2-5 in UFC. I gave all the money back basically. So it's all right. We all have it. But yeah, going defeated is it actually is hard because you'll stumble upon a win here and there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah,
you can blindly bet and you're gonna win a bet. To go out there and sit and bet 5 losers, that's hard to do.
That is tough. I'm not gonna lie. But before we continue our 2-a-days, quick word from our sponsor today. We are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebrations, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor our tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drink with just a kick, just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing around the golf with the boys, or if it's an elderberry on Thursday watching the Hall of Fame game. It doesn't matter. Our flavors pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, Elvis, let's get to it. We will start with the reigning champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Right? Right now, they're the favorite to literally win everything. They're the favorite to repeat at +600 to win the Super Bowl, to win the AFC +350. They're favored to win the AFC West again, -180. Their over-under is at 11.5, and they're like -500 to make the playoffs. We won't have to say that they're going to make the playoffs, but Super Bowl, AFC, I think they'll win the division. Over-under their win total. What do you got before we get to our player props for the Chiefs?
All right, Dill. Let's start off right there. Championship game, Dill. To reach the AFC championship game, +170, Dill. I like it. I think they get there. So, people, for those that's listening, I have an AFC championship game set. is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore
I
Ravens.
love it.
That's the
I love it.
So the people that's put it in now, AFC Championship is Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens, and guess where he's at, Dill?
Arrowhead.
Kansas City Arrowhead, which that means, Dill, give me the Kansas City Chiefs over the 11.5 wins, Dill. What could I honestly say about Patty Mahomes and this Chiefs team? First of all, give credit to Andy Reid. First ballot Hall of Fame head coach, fucking evil genius at calling plays. I call it evil just because he ain't calling plays for the Patriots. That's the only reason I'm gonna call it evil. But other than that, Dill, you gotta respect with everything that's going on, Dill. Shout out to the Chiefs. Shout out to Andy Reid. There's something special is going on. A lot of people didn't think they weren't able to do it without Tyreek. I knew they were gonna be good, but I didn't think they were gonna still be that good. So
hand up, that was me.
Chiefs over 11.5. Chiefs to win the division. Chiefs to reach the AFC Championship game plus 170. Hold on, that's a season special. Hold on 1 second, Dill.
Can you bet the Baltimore Ravens to verse the Kansas City Chiefs as a exact AFC matchup? I want to see those odds.
I'm pretty sure I can. I just gotta do it.
You gotta, do a different book maybe.
And then with that being said, I'll also take in the Chiefs as the first overall seed at plus 320. So give me the Chiefs for the AFC to reach the AFC Championship game at plus 170. Chiefs to win the division. Chiefs over 11.5 wins. And then Chiefs number 1 overall seed for the AFC at plus 320.
That plus 320 was mine to get the number 1 seed. I think they will lock it up this season, even though it's a gauntlet. The AFC is getting better and better by the year, as the seasons go on. I like how you do to reach the AFC, not to win it, but just reach. I've been seeing that kind of trend, so I do like that. I've never really, I guess, dove into that prop. I think they win their division, but I'm not going to bet it minus 180. Excuse me. I think they win their division for the 8th year in a row. That's crazy to me. Over 11.5 wins. I mean, they haven't gone under this number since 2017, where they won 10 games. They lost to your Patriots in the AFC Championship game that year, but they've gone over this number in 9 of the 10 seasons under Andy Reid. Like I said, you mentioned it last year. People tried to get cute and fade them a little. Hand up, that was me, and they go on to win the fucking Super Bowl. So I'm never fading this team again. I learned my lesson. And all their hard games, looking at their schedule, maybe besides the Jets and the Chargers, they're all at home. All their hard games, they get the Eagles after their bye, they get the Bills at home, and they get the Bengals late in the year at home. So all their really hard games are at home, I think, for them this season. They have the best QB and quarterback combination. Patty Mahomes, 27-3 straight up against the AFC West in his career. He just doesn't fucking lose against this division. There's just no way they don't win 12 games. They have a top 5 offensive line, great front 7. Their secondary got a little better. It still has some problems. I worry about their running back depth besides Isaiah Pacheco, but other than that, I just don't see where they go under this total. Remember last year, they tried out like 4 kickers during the season. They had kicking problems throughout the season. I think they're going to have a little better luck in that area as well. And all 4 losses they had last season came of 4 points or less. So they're not out here blowing games, losing by 10, losing by multiple possessions. They're losing by a field goal or less. So
remember, people, one of those losses came to the Colts.
Yeah. Exactly, where they probably kind of just punted the game, where I don't think they'll do that again this season, especially if Jonathan Taylor is not in. So it's probably my favorite play. I love it. I have that. My 2 tickets that I took them to win the AFC as well, plus 350. I took them to get the 1 seed. I took them to win the division. I love the over and 11.5 wins.
So you got the I just wanted it on the record. You have the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl.
I was just going to clarify. So my 2 tickets to win the AFC are the Browns and the Chiefs.
Oh, okay. So you just put a ticket in.
Yeah, I got a ticket.
But before this all ends, I want
a Super Bowl prediction in my AFC. No. Yeah.
I want both your NFC and AFC Championship game and then your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
My AFC Championship game is Baltimore Ravens at Kansas City Chiefs.
The thing is, I have multiple tickets. Like I have tickets for a lot of teams to
No,
win the
I hear you.
AFC just
I ain't
on
mad
value.
about this. I ain't
Yeah.
mad about the tickets, but I want to know
My official
what.
prediction,
Yeah, for the AFC.
I'll do it. I'll have it by our next episode, because then after this on Saturday, we'll be done with the AFC. So I'll have my AFC. Don't worry.
Hit people. Hit.
Don't worry.
I already know one team then.
Yeah, you already know the Chiefs are in it. You don't know the second, though. I will tell you on Saturday.
I think.
Just remind me, because I'll forget. But obviously, we definitely have them going, making the playoffs. There's no value in that. But let's get to player props. You could bet on Patty Mahomes. I guess leading the league in passing touchdowns. He's the favorite at plus 300. He's the favorite to lead the league in passing yards at plus 250. Isaiah Pacheco, there's the running back number 1. Travis Kelce for receiving props. So how are you going to bet on them player prop wise?
Still, I'm going to start right there. Patty Mahomes, still. Give me over 35.5 passing touchdowns. I like the over passing as well with the yards, still. But to play it safe, I think Patty Mahomes is a 40 touchdown passer all day, all night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for example, it wouldn't shock me if he reaches 45, 48, even sniffs 50, you know, with the extra game deal. But I think that over under 35.5 is too low for him and his team deal. I think he's just special, though. He's just special.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go next. Isaiah Pacheco, 775 rushing yards and a half. I think it's too low, though. I don't expect him, you know, to go over 1,000 yards. You know, would it surprise me if he touches 1,000 yards? Yes, a little bit. But I think 775 is too low. I think I see 859, 950 all day, deal. Even possibly 1,000 yards. It all depends, you know, if the Chiefs are just blowing everybody out, or, you know, if they're behind in some games, which is rare. But hey, if the Chiefs are behind in some games, maybe the rushing total will go down a little bit. But still, I expect the Chiefs to be ahead in at least most of the games in the season, though, and I expect Isaiah Pacheco and Andy Reid to just run the ball. So I expect them to go over this amount, though. It's one of my guarantees for this season. And then Travis Kelce, over 9.5 touchdowns, though. I think he's a double-digit touchdown monster. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It'll be some weeks he wouldn't get in the end zone, but we all know there's a game or two where he'll hit you with 2, possibly 3 touchdowns, still. So the fact that it's under 10, I would have took it if it was 10.5. So the fact that it was 9.5, I think is good money, deal. And then my last one, which is a little fun one to me, just because I think he will go out there and put on a show after winning the Super Bowl, after getting paid, after being the best defensive player in the Super Bowl. Give me Chris Jones, 10 plus sacks at minus 140, deal. I think he could get 10 sacks in 17 games. I think he could get 12 sacks in 17 games. At minus 140, I still like the number. Those are the rest of my Chief plays, though. And also one little caveat. I couldn't find it on my book, but I'm going to shop around more. Hopefully it pops up more towards the season. Kadarius Toney, I like his over, whatever his receiving yards will be. I'm going to guess it's going to be around 6, 7, maybe 800. I think he has a shot, if healthy, to be a 1,000-yard receiver, though. So I like Kadarius Toney over receiving yards.
Yeah, I don't have the number on that. I was actually looking for it. I was looking actually multiple books, not just the one I mainly use. But when we get closer to the season, I think more props open up. But yeah, we saw the impact he had in the Super Bowl on punt return, and he's just not he could work special teams. He's a great slot guy, and I just think it was a bad situation in New York. I think he fits. I mean, anybody could fit in Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. So that was stupid. But you said Chris Jones over 10 or just 10 exactly?
10 plus. So
okay. He could just get 10. Yeah.
As long as he gets
He
10.
had 15.5 last season. But are you worried, before I give you mine, are you worried that they don't get a deal done?
I think they get a deal done, Till. That's why I ended up taking it. Just because he was the best defensive player on the field, and you already let Frank Clark go. I think you have to sign him. Yeah, it might not be, you know, Chiefs might be like, damn, we might overpay him, but you have to. You know, it's like the Jaylen Brown Celtics deal. You know, everybody hated it, but the Celtics had to get that deal done.
Yeah, no, I understand, and you know, and I agree. I think in the Super Bowl, especially in the playoff games when you needed him to show up, he showed up. He might maybe not show up week 7 on the road, but when you need him in the Super Bowl, he's going to show up. So I agree. I think they might wind up overpaying him. But yeah, I love Patrick Mahomes over 35.5. I love his over 4,600 yards, 650.5 yards as well. Last year, he threw for 5,250 yards, 41 touchdowns, and that was all without Tyreek Hill, his number one receiver. So he's gone over both of these totals in 3 years straight. I think he's a 5,000-yard quarterback, and I also think he gets closer to 40 than he does 35. Excuse me. So I'm going to go over for both of his. I love Isaiah Pacheco over as well. He was a beast in his first year. I don't know. Shout out Rutgers, man. They breeded an athlete there.
He started as a third string.
Even catching the ball, he was good out of the backfield as well. There was a lot of screen and a lot of bubble routes that he would catch out of the backfield. So he rushed for 830 yards last season, and he's the type of back that I feel like I've watched so many Chiefs game where he was extremely tough to bring down. It took like 2 to 3 guys to tackle this guy. So he didn't fumble the ball either. He only had 3 fumbles on the season. They have a top 5 offensive line. I do think they'll pass more than they'll run, but when given the opportunity, I think he's going to run the shit out of the ball. I think he's going to have a better year. So I agree. I think he's in that 850, 900 range.
I think he averages anywhere from like 65 to 85 yards a game, and that would get him over the mark.
I'm going to pass on his rushing touchdowns, 5.5. He only had 5 last season. I think when they get down there, I just think there's so many ways, and Andy Reid creates so many different options down in the goal line that I just don't know if he'll get a lot of touches down there. So going to pass that. Actually, Elvis, I'm going to be the reverse. I'm going to pass on his receiving touchdowns for Kelsey. I mean, he only had double-digit touchdowns in 3 of his 9 years in the league. Last year, he had 12. He had a great year. But, it's kind of inconsistent. And then 2021, he had 7. Then he had 10. Then he had 6. It's kind of like up and down with him. So it would be either an under or pass. I just ultimately stayed away. I could definitely see him getting 10 touchdowns. I mean, it's fucking Travis Kelce's the number 1 tight end in the league. But I'd rather go over his receiving yards, 1,075. I think that's very disrespectful. So they didn't even put it at 1,100 yards. He's gone over this number in 6 of his last 7 years. And the 1 year he didn't, he missed it by like 35, 40 yards, which is 1 game for him or 1 half for him. So like I said, he's the best tight end in the league. He's Mahomes' number 1 option. In those 6 of 7 years, he led the league in every tight end category. So it's not like he's just leading in receiving yards. He's leading yak. He's leading catches. Like, he's just dominating. So even at age 34, he is getting up there in age. I just think he's going to lead the league. And maybe not every category, but he's definitely going to be the best tight end in the league again. So I'll go over 1,075.5 yards, and I'm going to pass on the 9.5. I get it. He's definitely a double-digit tight end, but there's a lot of mouths to feed on that team. So I'll just pass. Let's get to the Broncos now. Before we get to them, tough news came down today. Their wide receiver, Tim Patrick, suffered a season-ending injury. He tore his left Achilles today, so he's going to be out this season. Bad break for them, but thankfully they did draft Marvin Mims out of Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner baby, in the 2nd round. So he wasn't bad in college. I want to see if he could play the slot. I don't know if they just automatically put him there, so we'll see if he could just go in there and play the slot. The slot is much different than playing out wide. But other than that, to reach the Super Bowl or to win the Super Bowl, 45-1. To win the AFC, 30-1. They have the 3rd best odds to win the division at plus 600. Their over-under win total is 8.5. For them to make the playoffs, plus 186. For them not to make the playoffs, minus 235. I think we could. I don't want to speak for you, but I think we could both agree they're not going to make the playoffs, right?
Nah.
All right.
It's a chance, but it's highly unlikely. Unless, you tell
like a 95% unlikely, right?
No. Like, for example, say if the 7th seed is just a bunch of 7 or 8 win teams, which is a chance. And I think Broncos could maybe get in if they get to 8 wins. But I doubt it. I think to get the 7th seed, you're going to have to win 9 or 10 games.
I guess I'll start. Just because I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I'm not picking them to win anything. I really don't think they'll win a lot, to be honest. As for the win total, 8.5, to go over minus 106, to go under minus 115. I mean, I'm not going to play it, but if I had to, and if you guys out there want it, I would lean under. I mean, first time I counted 7 wins. I mean, they haven't won 9 games since 2016, where they just went 9-7 that season. Now, I do agree they'll be better. They have to be better. They went 5-12 last season. You can't get much worse than that. But I don't think their schedule is easy at all. It starts easy, but that later in the stretch, it gets very hard. Weeks 13 to 15, they have 3 straight road games. I know it was under Hackett last season, but they were one of the most penalized teams in the league last season. So it doesn't matter how much talent you have on this roster. When you're not disciplined, it's going to kill you, especially in tight games. Penalties will kill you. So they couldn't really upgrade through the draft because they traded for Sean Payton. They traded for Russell Wilson. So they only had 4 draft picks. They really didn't upgrade in the draft. I also think their defense is going to regress a little. I think their offense is going to get better with Sean Payton. He's an offensive guy, but they lost Chubb. They lost Draymond Jones to the Seahawks. I love their secondary. Secondary is top 5, if not top 3 in the league.
They're the best.
Debatable. Debatable.
Hey, I'm not saying the best. It might be. You got to give them that.
Yeah, but I just think they're gonna regress a little bit. I don't like the running back room. Their running back room is awful. They have no depth there. There's just too many question marks around this whole team for me to think they'll win 4 more games. Could they? Yeah, they could. But I see 8 wins at most, 7, 8 wins. I see them winning. So I got to go under real quick for I guess my first play for the Broncos. What about you? What do you got for them?
Dill, I counted exactly 8 wins. So to win exactly 8 wins at plus 600, I think that's a go-to bet. You know, I also like
the value's definitely there. I'll say that at 600.
At plus 600, Dill, I think Sean Payton alone adds 3 wins to your team. You know, would I smash the over under,
or would you stay away?
I'll put it like this. I'll hit the over more than I'll stay away. Just because, you know, there's a few games that, you know, it's going to be tough ones, but they could possibly sniff out, you know. So I'll give them a shot to hit the over deal. I'll lean the over more than I'll lean under. But I think the magic number is 8. I think they win 8 games. I counted 8 multiple times.
Yeah.
I possibly a chance at 7, but I like 8 and the over at 9 more than I like the under deal. So I'm gonna go with the over and exactly 8 wins at plus 600.
And we're not not to win a division. You don't think there's any?
If over the Chargers and then the Chiefs.
Yeah. No, it's a very tough division. Now, one question before we get to the player props: would it surprise you if they went under and got? I mean, if they get 8, I think you're laughing to the bank because you got a plus $600 ticket in. But would it surprise you if they didn't win 9 games?
No, not at all.
Okay. No, I'm just wondering.
I think I'll be more surprised if they win. Put it like this: I'll be shocked if they win 10, and I'll be shocked if they only win 6. I think they're somewhere between the 7 and 9.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
If I'm the Broncos, because you know they got new ownership. You know, shout out Sam's Club, Walmart. You know, I shop there all the time. Can you imagine?
No free shout outs.
If I'm a new owner and we go out there and win 7, 8 games, I think that's a positive season. You know, especially what we saw last season. So I think the magic number is 8. You know, it's just a step forward. You know, it's not, if you could win the division, by all means, go out there and try to win the division.
Of course.
Is it realistic? No.
Yeah.
But, you know, in 2-3 years from now, is the division,
it might be.
It might be. So
if they stay healthy, I agree. I think there's a lot of talent on that team.
Yeah, so I think the first step is to become a successful franchise, and that's winning 8, 9 games.
And I think that Go. I'm sorry.
I give them a shot to win 8, 9 games more than I give them a shot to only win 5 or 6.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, and it's not just Sean Payton that they brought in. They got a new OC, Joe Lombardi, Vance Joseph, great DC. They brought him in as well. They got Mike Westhoff, assistant head coach, Ben Kowalik as special teams. Like, they literally gutted the whole coaching staff and said, we're all in on Russ. You know, we got a good we got a great defense. We got studs. Hopefully they could stay healthy with Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. But, we have the pieces. Maybe we could add another running back. But, we got a Hall of Fame quarterback. We got a Hall of Fame coach. We better be better than 5 wins. I think that's what ownership is basically telling us. And I agree. If I'm the ownership or I'm John Elway and I'm going and sitting and I hire all these guys, you damn better win fucking 9 games, 8 games. You know what I mean? They can't have another season like last year. Then I would hit the panic button. Would you not?
You can't go out there and average, I think they averaged 13, 14 points a game.
When their defense was only allowing 17 points a game.
Which was second or third in the NFL. If that team last year averaged 20 points a game, they would have almost won the division.
And like I said, it came down to penalties. They were unorganized. And that comes down on Russ. And that also comes down on Nathaniel Hackett as well. So I think, to be honest, I could see it. But my bet is going to be the under. Now, for player props, you can't bet no running back props. I think that says enough about the running back room.
Javonte Williams is a stud. It's just he's coming off the ACL injury. So it's a question mark is he going to be ready week 1? And how is he going to be looking?
And remember, he was a touchdown machine, anytime touchdown machine prop for us last season. Whenever they got on the goal line for them, over. So we hit that a lot. But we'll start with Russ. He has to have a better season. I think he will. Sean Payton is a much better coach. His passing prop touchdown, 24.5. His passing yards, 3,650.5. Which one are you going over or under?
Still, I stood away from the passing touchdowns just because Russ never been a touchdown throwing machine. I think it only been a few times in his career he's been around that 30 number, Dill. So I ended up staying away from the 24.5 touchdowns. Is there a chance he goes over? Absolutely, especially with the high throwing Sean Payton offense, Dill. But yeah. I'm a head towards his passing mark, Dill. I think he goes over 3,650.5. Dill. You got to remember how the way Sean Payton offense flows. I'm not saying Russell Wilson is Drew Brees, but we saw Drew Brees for damn near a decade throw for almost 5,000 yards every season. Remember, he had the all-time passing record under Sean Payton for a couple seasons. So I expect Russ to throw more than we ever seen in his career, and I expect the offense to flow. A lot of running backs and tight ends being wide open right in the middle, and I expect Russ to hit those targets and get a lot of yards out of it. So do I expect Russ to be Drew Brees? No. But do I expect Russ to be somewhere around 4,038 passing yards? Absolutely, Dill. If Drew Brees was ever able to average 46 to 48 for damn near a decade, I expect Russ to hit 4,000.
And we didn't even see Drew Brees really go and throw the deep ball. It was a lot of deke and dunks.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a lot of screens, a lot of slants, a lot of curl routes. Everything that's going to be Russell Wilson friendly.
Yeah, I agree. I stayed away from the 24.5. I think the biggest question mark is how Russ is going to play, how he's going to adopt, how long it's going to take for him to really learn the system. I think he's a pro. He's a Hall of Famer. I think he will definitely be a little better. I'm going to go over his passing yards, 3,000. He only threw 16. Yeah. So I'm going to stay away from the passing touchdowns because he only threw 16 last season. I think a 9 touchdown improvement is kind of a stretch. That's at least a 3 to 4 games, and I don't know if he does that. Last season, he threw for 3,524 yards. I think he gets over. I think he's closer to 37 to 39 yard mark. So I'm definitely going to go over his passing yards and stay away from the 24.5 because I could see him have a better year, but I could see him get maybe 19, 20 touchdowns. Like you said, he's never been the passing touchdown kind of quarterback anyway. So as for receiver, like we said, they got 2 really good wide receivers. Hopefully they could stay healthy in Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. It always seems to me like if Cortland Sutton goes down for the year, Jerry Jeudy has a banging year in 2020. Then Jerry Jeudy goes down and Cortland Sutton has a really good year. So I just want to see them both on the field because the Denver Broncos are going to be way much better with them on the field than without them. So I'll let you lead it off. What do you got for the receiver props?
Duh, I said this last year. I ended up saying I thought Jerry Jeudy was going to hit that next level, become an NFL superstar, something like we saw CeeDee Lamb take. that next step. So I'm gonna say it again. Give me Jerry Judy over 925 and a half receiving yards. Still, I think this year, if he stays healthy, he will take that next step. Possibly a Pro Bowler under Sean Payton in this offense. Like I said earlier, I expect Russell Wilson to throw more in this year than he did his whole career, and I expect Jerry Jeudy to come on top and be that true number one receiver that he was drafted in the first round to be.
Actually, I'm staying away from everything for Jerry Jeudy, to be honest. He was tough to handicap for me because, you know, he's more of the wide receiver to miss some time with injury than Sutton. He's missed time back-to-back seasons, and because of that, he's gone under both of his props in 2 of the 3 years of the league. So yeah, I'd rather go over his 4.5 touchdowns, oddly enough, than his receiving yards. He's at 4.5 receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, excuse me. His receiving yards is 925.5. Even when he played 16 games 3 years ago, he still didn't get 900 receiving yards. So, excuse me, if he gets hurt this season and has to miss time, I think our ticket's fucked. So, not thankfully, but truthfully, I'm going to pass on just both of his. If I had to gun to my head, I'd rather take his 4.5 receiving touchdowns over than his receiving yards. For Cortland Sutton, I love the over receiving yards, 675.5. The only year he didn't go over this was in 2020, where he played for a few minutes in the first quarter and got a season-ending injury. But other than that, even his rookie year, he's caught over 700 receiving yards in every season. I think 675 is actually very disrespectful. I think he's around 850, maybe 900 receiving yards. As for his receiving touchdown, 4.5 plus 120 to the over, minus 152 to the under. I'll pass. I do lean under. He's only gone over this number one time in his career. He's ended with exactly 4 touchdowns just one time in his career, and that was back in his rookie season. He's gone back-to-back years with just 2 touchdowns. So, got to go under his receiving touchdowns. Like I said, I don't really like Russ's passing touchdowns. So, love Cortland Sutton's receiving yards, though. Did you have a play on him or no?
Nah, to understand the way just because the injury factor deal. If they're, you know, if you're gonna tell me he's gonna play all 17 games, even if he goes out there and plays 14 games, I'll smash the over deal. It's just question. I expect Jerry Jeudy to play more games than him. That's my thing.
He should, but it's surprising because Jerry Jeudy's actually missed more time than Cortland Sutton. But yeah, I like it. I do think if they could both stay healthy, I think they both have a potential to get 1,000 yards under Sean Payton, to be honest. And if Russell Wilson takes care of the ball and he's not throwing picks like he did last season, I think both of them could have a really good season. So I think we're pretty aligned, except I think maybe Travis Kelce and Jerry Jeudy. But other than that, I think we're pretty aligned in most spots. And yeah, I got my first team in the AFC Championship, which will be the Kansas City Chiefs. But before we go, I do want to get the Hall of Fame game in real quick. Any leans? I know you're not betting, but any leans out there? Browns minus 2.5 on the spread. Money line minus 135. Jets plus 115 plus 2.5. Sauce Gardner's not playing. He's actually graduating college this season, so shout out him for going back and getting his degree. Garrett Wilson, Quentin Williams, none of them are really playing. Zach Wilson will get the start. I think Michael Carter Jr. will be in the running back, but let me see if they actually have first quarter, because you were mentioning. No, they don't.
Yeah,
they don't have it
right now.
Yeah, they don't have it right now. But I guess total sitting at 31.5. Any lean or suggestion, I would say, for the people?
I gotta lean the under just because I don't expect the backups to put up a lot up there, and I don't expect the coaches to go out there and try to show everything they got. So I think they're gonna be very bold. Not bold, but very, just dull offense. Run the ball, few passes here and there, but none exposing the playbook though.
Yeah, and you got these practice squad guys and people who got drafted trying to make the team.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little more interesting when we get to the last preseason game because you see the starters for at least a quarter or two. So got to take the Jets, though. I got to take the Jets plus 115. I think Zach Wilson going to light them up. But that's going to do it. Elvis, any last words before we get up out of here, before we get to it next week?
Still, I don't think anything good ever came when you said Zach Wilson's going to light them up. So
He was 5-2 as a starter. That's all I'll say, and I'll leave it at that.
so
That's gonna.
why he got benched?
It's for Aaron Rodgers. We would all
That
get benched. We would all
Mike
get
White,
benched.
Mike
Yeah,
White, Mike White wasn't starting games last season.
he was, but we just needed
Why?
to look. Why? Because he was immature. He was turning the ball over. But some of the games he was turning the ball over, we were winning with our defense. For example, like the game with the Denver. Don't let that go over your head. We got that game circled week
Also,
5.
a game against Green Bay.
Exactly. Where he turned the ball over and we still won the game. So doesn't matter. I think he's going to win and he's going to get better. So that's going to do it for this Monday edition of the Dream Wager. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Elvis, myself, we'll see you guys this weekend on Saturday. So please follow along our social media, Twitter and Instagram at the Dream Wager. You can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. We go live every Monday and Saturday on YouTube, youtube.com/the Dream Wager. Trying to get our subscribers up as well. So go over, subscribe, rate, like, give a review. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend, everyone. Have a great week. Good luck on your wagers. Be safe, be well. We'll see you guys down the road. Peace.